Good morning. My name is Teresa. We're going to be doing today a program called Homemade Toys. And I started this by calling it Homemade Toys for Toddlers. But as I made them, I realized all kinds of kids might enjoy this. And even though if some of the so-called easy toys are too easy for older kids, it might give them some ideas of some other toys. And that's the whole point, is that there's some fun things you can do with stuff you have around your house. And today we're talking about milk jugs, or it could be detergent jugs or orange juice jugs, but it's plastic jugs. We're going to start with some easy ones. It's a lot of fun for little kids to put lids on things, and then they take them off, and then they put them on, and then they take them off. And it's also good for their hand development. This is for the moms who are, or the folks who are listening. It's good for their hand development to get those on there. So just giving a little one a lid to put on and off for a while, you'll be able to tell. You'll be like, oh, what do you know? That's kind of fun. That can keep them occupied for a while. If it doesn't interest them, obviously they've outgrown that, in which case you can now do something with this. Here you've got a jug. Here you've got the lid, but I punched some holes in the lid. You can do it any way you want. I used this pokey end on my meat thermometer, and I poked it through. If you find that you have a little bit of hard time with that, if you have a gas stove, stick it over the flame for about 5 seconds, only just a little bit, and then it'll just poke right through, and you just poke yourself a bunch of holes. Now you have something that you can use for pouring. And little kids, well, now that it's cold, you're probably not going to be playing in the water outside yet, but this is something in the bathtub, or it's something out in the summer to play in the water. And of course, they can help garden by watering the plants. And as you can figure out, you want to use something small, because then when you fill it with water, it's too heavy for the little ones to carry around. So you'll figure that one out, what's a good size for that one. Back to the plain old milk jug. I went ahead and cut out a hole, but you can see it's nothing lovely. I just took my scissors and I poked it, and then I cut, and I have a hole. Little ones, toddlers, like 1.5 to 3, will have a lot of fun dropping things in. Now you can see I'm going to have to hold this up because have to have an imaginary table. But if you put this on the floor or put it on the table, a kid can, for a long time, little children love to drop things into other things. And it could be pom-poms, or it could be clothespins, or it could be, markers. Whatever you find that will fit in the hole, oops, everything fell out, fit in the hole. And that's also a fun game for kids to just say, what fits in the hole? And they might run all over the house looking for things, like maybe some buttons, that fits in the hole. And then they try to fit something, oh, doesn't fit in the hole. Bigger kids can see, oh yeah, that is not gonna fit in the hole. They're not even gonna try. But younger kids, about 1.5 years or 2, they have to figure this out and realize, nope, it doesn't fit. What else fits? Nope, doesn't fit. And eventually they will be able to figure out what fits in the hole. And of course, all they have to do is reach in and pull them out and do it again. That same game is fun for a little bit older kids to set on the table and then try to throw things into the hole, like that. And again, as you get older, you can have things, see, this is a little pom-pom and a big hole. And so that's going to be easy. If you take a big thing, like a ball of yarn, or your socks, roll up your socks, and then you try to get it in the hole, that's a lot harder. And that you can then work, that could be target practice for older kids. It's the same toy, but you make it a little bit harder. And then older children can challenge each other. We can have a game where everybody's given 5 things to throw in the hole. And the little ones have little things, and the older kids have big things. And then you see who gets the most in. Fun. It's a fun sort of game that you can think through. To cut this one that is sort of like I was saying before. I'm just going to show you how I do this. I poked a hole in the bottom with these kitchen scissors, chop the bottom off. This is another one for young children. If you set that on the table and then they drop it in, I have to have like too many hands. It's on the table and they drop it in. You go, where did it go? And they're like, there it is. Very young children, 1 year old. As soon as they're old enough to be able to pick something up and drop it in the hole, very young children don't realize that it's still there. There it is. That's a big one that I probably should have talked about first with younger children, to drop the little things in. Then they can drop it in here and they can also see that it's there. But when you have something that is like this with no bottom, but you put a lid on it, you've got a great scoop. You cut your scoop that it looks like this. There's your handle, no bottom, and a scoop. You can use this for scooping up your Legos. Your Legos are all over the floor and Ma says, got to clean up, it's time for dinner. Get your scoop. Scoop them up and dump them in. And little kids love scooping. Little kids love scooping. So it could just be even a game. The older kids who are playing with the Legos all over the floor and your little brother or sister is coming in and kind of bothering you, if you make a scoop and give them a bucket or a bowl or something and you just say, scoop up my extras, they can scoop them up and dump them in and scoop them up. And when the bucket's full, you dump them out and you pick some more. And that will keep them busy with scooping. This is also something you can use in the garden. When it finally gets nice out there, I see your eyes. It finally gets nice outside and you want to go play outside. It's fun, if you want to do this, to scoop up things and then take off the lid and have them pour out. That's just another fun thing you can do, like with sand. Scoop it up, take off the lid, and watch it pour out. Just fun things like that. Okay? I'm going to make this scoop for the bathtub. So I've got some sort of poker thing, and I'm going to poke holes in the bottom. So you've got some holes in the bottom, right? And if you have a big one, now all you do is cut a hole. You cut off the top. Poke in your scissors. Here I have to show you. You're going to be careful and leave the handle on. So cut most of the way. And then when you get to this, here you go, this hard part right here, go up around it. I'm having a hard time with this one. Let's go up and around it. There we go. I went the wrong way. So you cut off, basically you're cutting off the hole. Now you have a time when you're done with the toys in your bathtub, you scoop them up, and because there's holes in the bottom, it drains. And you could just set it on the side of the bathtub when you're done with the bathtub, and all that water drains out, and there's your toys. And it works better with a great big one. And another one, here's one that I pretend it's a big, long dowel rod. And if you take your jugs and you put them, you know, the ones that you've made into things like this where you've cut up the top, if you put all of those on a rod, you can have a place to store your toys in your room, or maybe you can have a box with all your crayons, or maybe you can have, you know, like crayons in this one and markers in this one, or scissors in another one, and you have all these things on a stick, and they can just be hanging like from your chair or any place that you want to find that it fits. And that's a nice way to store it. I'm gonna make a mask. I'm gonna show you how to make a mask. But I don't think that you guys are old enough that I don't think that this is gonna be scary. But for moms, if you find out that this is scary, don't be too surprised. But you can make a mask that looks kind of like Ant-Man. So you're gonna take this, the top of your milk jug, and you're gonna cut the top off, but you're gonna cut it off really big. So I'll cut this and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it's the big top. And then you have, let me take off my glasses, a mask. Obviously you need some holes for your eyes. See that? And then you would cut out those circles that are the eyes. And then you will need to take a hole punch. And you punch a hole here. And you punch a hole here. And if you don't have a hole punch, you can make a hole with a pen or like one of these pokey things. You'll find things, scissors, or kind of like a funny animal, whatever you want, however you wanted to decorate it. And then you would attach through the holes some ribbon to tie it, or maybe some elastic if you like that, you know, elastic, that's stretchy stuff. You can decorate it, you can color it. I'll just do the one side to show you what I'm talking about. Like maybe I'll give it an eyebrow, or maybe I'll give it some whiskers. And then I kind of look like a raccoon. There we go. You can see my nose so I can breathe. Oh, guess what? I forgot one, which was like the most fun of all. You need one of these. One that you cut the top out. And you need some string. About this big. Okay? So this is 2. I'm going to put this around my head to hold on to it. And the first thing you do after you've cut this out, you can have a game of catch where you take a ball and you throw it and then you try to catch it in the jug. And then you take it out and you throw it to each other. You've got things like this before where you play catch but try to catch with the jug, play catch and catch with the jug. The big jugs will be easier, obviously. So an older kid might want, you know, after this seems really, really easy, try it with some small ones. And if you're playing by yourself, you can take this string and tie it to the handle. And then you tie anything you want on the other side of the string. I made my string just a little bit long. And it could be a pom-pom, but this is going to be kind of light and it might be kind of hard. It's really anything that you can tie it through. Here I have, do you know what this is? This is one of these things I just got from down in my basement for planting things in. As long as you can tie it on with the string, it's okay. Do whatever you want. And the idea is now you try to catch it in the container. And again, you do a little experimenting. If it's really, really easy, use a small jug. If it's really hard, ooh, I'm not doing very good at this. If it's really hard, then try a bigger jug. I tied it to the handle. Another way you can do it is to punch a hole and tie it to the front. Punch a hole and tie the string to the front. That might be easier to catch it. If it's really hard, maybe the string is too short or it's too long, do some experimenting. So you can play by yourself, and if you each have one, you can take it out and throw it, catch, and the other person throws it, catch, and done a whole lot. I'm going to quickly remind you, dumping things in the top and pulling them out. They are great for being a scoop. You can make it into something that you pour. Little kids can just have a great time putting the lids on. That's fun. And you know, when you're all done with playing with these and you're really, really tired and bored of them, you can just put them back in the recycle bin and your mama can throw them away. Or your daddy, or your grandma, or your grandpa. And then they're not cluttering up the house. Thanks for coming today. I hope you found some fun, creative ideas. And if you think of some other ideas that I didn't think of, it would be a lot of fun for you to send that information to me so that I'm ready to do this and add your idea the next time. Have a good time. It's a nice day to be playing inside with some fun things. Use your thinker, come up with some creative things to do. Bye, friends. See you next time.